Hello, hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily, the new show powered by ohmTown.com. Today is March 25th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 85. I'm looking at the mix to make sure that we're loud enough for everybody. I am Mayor Watt. Up there is the visualizer for the sentient AI. It looks like it's working. You want to say hi? Today we're going to be talking about legal AI startup, not a Find My Issue, Part 2. Forgotten fast food, Malaysian ghost town, birds give you the bird, popcorn buckets, selling, not sued, Boeing CEO gets grounded, EVs too heavy for UK, and content for Apple Vision Pro. Everything is powered by ohmTown.com, which is why we have this. All right, welcome to the show once more. Let's just jump right on into it. I'm running about 15 minutes late for the show. Again, mayoral duties prevent me from jumping into the shoe on time. Sorry about that. Kind of triage my day. Anyway. The very first article, oh, wait, gotta do this. Hold on to your butts. Whoosh. Oh, we have to make sound effects now, too. Whoosh. So, like in the movie Airplane 2, where for the doors to open or close, they walk up to it and they go, shh. And then the door goes, shh. And then they walk past it and they go, shh. And the door goes, shh. Those were the days. I can't. Okay. Well, anyway, Law Nerd is where the article has been aggregated. Legal tech startup AI.law can now draft the complaint for your lawsuit and hopefully not hallucinate. I wonder if this is actually going to work out. Right. The draft complaints include jurisdictional allegations, general allegations, claims with elements that are supported by facts, and a demand section. All right. So the article was aggregated from where? This is a new site. Law sites. Bob Ambrogi over at Law Sites. It's actually from lawnext.com. But I swear this actually is from Above the Law. Yeah. So it was originally housed over at Above the Law, but I guess it came from Law Next now. Interesting. So while AI.law already had modules for litigation tasks such as answering a lawsuit, responding to discovery, and pulling summaries from medical records, this new module allows a user to input relevant information about a case and generate a complete complaint. Wouldn't it be, if you have to put all of the information? It looks at the fact pattern and goes, no. Settle, quick. Watson actually killed a project that I was working on to evaluate case law, the historical elements of case law and how evidence and argument swayed one way or the other based on statistical analysis. But I couldn't get enough access to pertinent information. And then Watson came out and I'm like, oh, AI is going to destroy this. It's taken, almost 20 years, but it is what it is. Because I've always been interested in law, and in particular, it entirely stems from a phrase that I heard from an attorney, and have since heard it from other attorneys, where the legal system generally gets it right. And I'm like, I don't like generally anything. So The draft complaints include jurisdictional allegations, general allegation claims with elements that are supported by facts, and a demand section. The product, which is in beta, generates a Microsoft Word document formatted for the federal court system. Users and I like this. This is actually pretty interesting. To draft a complaint, you fill out a form with specific information about the case. In addition to the names of the parties and the jurisdiction, AI.law asks you to provide causes of action, description of the matter, and chronology of events. You're basically filling out the template that every law firm would have, and any program that considers itself access to justice, which is in various states and communities, you have some type of program that provides the public with access to justice, which includes templates and things like that from a legal library, without referring to it as actual legal advice. You ultimately end up having to talk to somebody that may offer their services pro bono. But for crying out loud, AI.law apparently wants you to fill out the template, and then it generates the template. It has to be. This doesn't just go into a vacuum, right? It doesn't go into a blender and throw it away. It's going to be stored on their system somewhere. So overall, the complaint it generated was, whoa. At least on its face, a good first draft. Of course, the author says that they would need to do research the elements of the various claims and determine whether more needed to be said or if any should be deleted. But even just the drafting could be a real time saver. They also found the language, primarily in the introduction, to be a bit melodramatic. So here's the AI hallucination. This opening paragraph, for instance, right? In the heart of Boston, where trust and reputation are the cornerstones of local business. John Smith. Oh my God. Dun dun. Yeah. Oh my God. This is so... John Smith stands as a paragon of integrity, unjustly maligned by the reckless words of the Boston Beacon. Yeah. Oh, I love this article. Okay, I need to draw attention. Bob Ambrogi is the author of this over at lawnext.com. I'm telling you, this is... I love how it's laid out. You'll have to go over and read the minutia of this. But they actually break down analyzing the complaint that it's generated. Quote, I turned the tables, uploading the complaint it generated and using its analyze elements of claims feature, asking it to analyze the sufficiency of the allegations and the elements of the claims. And I guess it provided it. Let's see. The statement must tend to harm the reputation of the plaintiff, the AI said. The article's allegations are clearly defamatory as they accuse the plaintiff of criminal activity. I don't know. It depends. Yeah, right. They're supposed to be going after the person. So let's see. For example, with respect to the defamation claim, AI.law said that one element of the claim is showing the defamatory character of the publication. So they're trying to sue the publication because they posted this. The statement must tend to harm the reputation of the plaintiff. But the allegations that are clearly defamatory aren't necessarily defamatory if there's evidence or if it has become fact that the plaintiff conducted a criminal activity and it's affirmed by a court. Interesting. I mean, there's nothing defamatory about fact. Interesting. But I suppose with a big enough pocketbook, you could just litigate until somebody, but that's like a slap suit, really. So if you want to try it out, you can. Or any of its applications, the company offers a free trial. Then after the trial ends, It offers 3 tiers of monthly subscriptions. Bob Ambrogi, good job writing this article. This is pretty neat. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it could be a one-stop shop law firm, right? Trying to mitigate the expense of multiple paralegals doing draft complaint generation. Because that's really where it all spawns from. A paralegal is doing all of this kind of legwork, and then the attorney is verifying all of it and then pulling him themselves into the courtroom, or working on others, gathering clients, etc. So this is neat. I mean, I like the idea of it, but I wonder how much it's actually being used without a subject matter expert and an attorney actually doing all of the due diligence to verify. I mean, it's yeah, like what is the typical cost to generate a complaint and do all the due diligence? It used to take 4 hours, but now it only takes 15 minutes. Right? So now I'm only being able to charge, $75 instead of $600. Interesting. Neat article. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Smack Talk. Another Find My misfire led to a raid on a suburban family's home. This one is really interesting because we talked about another one, a pair of Right, me too. And so I actually ended up looking at it, but a pair of AirPods thrown out of a carjacked vehicle led the St. Louis County SWAT team to bust down the front door of a Ferguson family's home with a battering ram. And the article's over at appleinsider.com, and Amber Neely is the author. So what ended up happening was in May 2023, a raid by the St. Louis County SWAT team shattered the door of the innocent Ferguson family. The chaotic incident at Brittany Shamley's home stemmed from a flawed search warrant based on inaccurate tracking of stolen AirPods. And actually, the more I look at this, I'm like, this is really close to that other one. Is it a unique one? Otherwise, because yeah, see, this is the one that we talked about. They actually mentioned it in the article. The elderly woman's home was raided, and they blew out the garage door looking for a stolen truck that may have contained guns. But here's my problem with this. In both of these articles, they call it a Find My iPhone, Find My Device misfire, but that's not what this is. This is a due diligence and overzealous SWAT team and militarization of the police force problem. This is a societal problem that needs to rein in the response to something like this. Again, Amber Neely over at appleinsider.com put this article together. And so in both of these instances, the SWAT team was activated based on an affidavit that Find My pings were coming from X location. These AirPods were later found in the gutter in front of the house because they believe that the car thieves found them and threw them out because they know that they can be tracked. Yeah. Correct. Yep. The thieves drove through the neighborhood, threw the AirPods out, and that landed these people in a raid. So the last person that did this or was victim to this ended up with nearly $4 million in compensation and damages. But they blew down her door, blew out tiles from the ceiling, basically wrecked the house looking for a stolen truck. And well, supposedly, right? Yeah. And so again, nobody should be relying on this, because when I've heard other stories about this where somebody's iPad was stolen and they literally walked the police to where it is making an audible sound, they're like, we can't go into the garage. Yeah. Because purchased equipment that sits unused, it's waste. It's just waste. The SWAT team has to. You got to train live, right? Come on. Anyway, Shock from Beavis. Seriously, Beavis Shock and Eric Veith is suing for damages and questionable police tactics. Shock highlights concerns about excessive SWAT deployments, emphasizing the need for balance officer safety with citizens' rights. Because, knocking on the door and backing up with protection is going to do what? If they entrench themselves in this thing, just plop a flashbang in there and go for broke. No, I'm kidding. I mean, seriously, setting up a command post after somebody says, go away, copper, and fires rounds out of a window, blowing out this, doing a SWAT raid, you're going to either get complete capitulation because they're innocent, or you're going to get a violent response because they're hardened criminals. Everything in between is basically a maybe in any instance. Knocking on the door could be dangerous. Blowing the door down could be dangerous. But know what you're doing before you do it. Use FLIR, use surveillance. Yeah. Send it. Yeah. What is the content? Yeah, I agree. But again, my main concern with even bringing this article forward was it is not a find my problem. It is a society problem, enabling and allowing a SWAT action based off of a ping that can be erroneous. If you're going to sit there and blow out a door and possibly harm people in the process, you better be absolutely correct. Not we generally get it right. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. California has a forgotten fast food brand. Considering I've spent... No, that slid down into Mexico, apparently. I think they've subsequently changed their name entirely, but I'm not sure what it is. The In-N-Out actually sued them, I believe. So this article's over in the Mobile Channel. California has a forgotten fast food brand. Regional fast food chains are bizarre and beautiful. These local favorites tend to remain local, either because there's no interest in going national or the menu just doesn't have broader appeal. Some chains are too oddly specific that they just wouldn't make sense anywhere else. One such is apparently Baker's. Baker's drive-through. Yeah, but I feel like I might have, so I'm going to go through this article. Maybe when I was really young? I don't know. Baker's drive-through was founded by a man whose monumental contributions to fast food have been largely lost to time. Danny Palumbo is the author from The Takeout, but it's published at qz.com, Quartz, aka Quartz. So it's in the Inland Empire region of Southern California, founded by a man whose monumental contributions to fast food have been largely lost to time. So San Bernardino, Riverside, it's inland because it's roughly 60 miles away from LA. You might also know San Bernardino as the birthplace of McDonald's, Taco Bell, Del Taco. Southern California, that is, right? I don't know. Maybe it was like a little Silicon Valley, like a hotbed of startup communities. And more specifically, San Bernardino is truly the epicenter of fast food. It gets summed up nicely in the Los Angeles Times article written by Valerie J. Nelson in 2008. San Bernardino was the hub for so many of these guys, and it all centered around the McDonald's brothers. Chris Nichols, a Los Angeles Conservancy historic preservationist, told The Times in an email. It's kind of like the early days of computer development where everybody was at the table and would go on to be a household name. So Baker may not be a household name, but it's one of them that has rubbed elbows with all of the fast food giants at one time. Pretty neat. Baker's Burgers. Neil Baker founded Baker's Burgers, but it just became Baker's Drive-Thru. I guess if it expands beyond burgers, then it makes it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that really helps become catchy. Baker's makes it sound like it's a bakery, not a. Yeah, exactly. So he helped Maurice McDonald build their first McDonald's restaurant, helped Glenn Bell build Taco Bell, helped John Gallardi even worked at Baker's Burgers before founding Wiener Schnitzel. The nexus of fast food is Baker. Wow, this is a neat article. Today, though, all of the food is served together. You can still order a Twin Kitchens combo featuring a taco, burger, fries, and a soda starting at $10. How is it still in business? That's insane. So how is the food? Honestly, this food tastes just fine. It's a blast from the past, and there's some good and bad involved there. The Boca Burger features a colorless, warmed soy patty reminiscent of the veggie burgers from the 80s and 90s that lacks flavor of an ultra-processed, super meaty Impossible Burger, or the fresh, well-constructed, vegetable-forward Veggie Shack from the Shake Shack. Sorry, I had flipped it around. So I guess it's kind of old school and basic, but it's still in existence since 1952. Yeah, this is pretty neat. Yep. Maybe it'll be the sleeper that survives the fast food wars. Because it has tacos. Maybe butterfly effect will keep it alive. And what we're going to have to do is keep watching Demolition Man. Because if the butterfly effect happens, we'll have a Mandela effect. Making us go, wait a minute. That used to say Taco Bell. And now it says Baker's. Dun, dun, dun. And the whole town is lined up behind the drive-thru because it's Baker's drive-thru. By the way, based on discussions with the sentient AI from the future, which is the co-host here in ohmTown, Demolition Man, we've come to surmise, was a documentary. So the winners of the fast food wars were Taco Bell. You'll find out about the 3 shells and how to use them at some point. Anyway, he passed in 2008. Neil Baker's contributions to the modern fast food era live on. How do you want to say? Bake hard, Neil Baker, or wait, no. What do you want to? How do you sign them off? You know? Yeah, there you go. I don't know. Here's your fast food order. See ya. Okay, so let's keep going. We have 7 more articles to work through, and eventually my transition will work. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Malaysia's $100 billion ghost town really wants to draw tourists. It's not working. Forest City, a luxury development in Malaysia, is banking on tourism to shed its ghost town image. Forest City claimed that several thousand tourists have visited the development, but tourists and business owners alike said it's not an attractive destination to spend or make money. That's selling me. I think this is the same one that I've talked about like 2 years ago when we first started ohmTown Daily News. Marielle Descalsota, I think Descalsota. Hopefully, maybe it's Decalsota. I'm not sure how to pronounce their last name, but anyway, Marielle. over at businessinsider.com, put the article together. I wouldn't come here. There's nothing here. It's quite dead, one weekend visitor said. Selling me. Wendy Noble lives 15 minutes away from Malaysia's Forest City across the border in Singapore. One Friday, after a tiring week of graduate school, all the 25-year-old wanted to do was lounge by a beach. A quick scroll through the online photos of a pristine beach and luxurious golf resort inspired her and her roommate, Nemis, why not dox them a little harder, to head to Forest City the following day. So Country Garden, one of the largest developers in China, spent $100 billion building Forest City, and the developer promoted it as a living paradise meant to house 700,000 people in luxury high-rise condominiums and villas. I mean, if you export a whole bunch of Chinese citizens over to this Malaysian living paradise and actually build a community there, they could have 700,000 people starting up businesses, farms, etc. in the local community. I guess they're not doing that. The reality turned out to be different. The Chinese developer had over $190 billion in liabilities as of June, is seeing massive sales slumps, contributes to China's ongoing real estate crisis. Because it's all fabricated. It's supposed to be built off of demand, but that's not what's going on. Wow. So wait, when did it actually get formed? Hold on. I swear this is actually like from 2020 or something like that, right? So they talk about March 2023 that it's a place to experience coastal resort life, and branding itself as a popular short haul destination. And then they mentioned 2022. Yeah, exactly. So I remember talking about this in 2022. Pretty brutal. They say that the facilities that looked run down in 2022 were now in better shape. The pool was available for hotel guests to use. Over 48 hours they spent there. They saw several dozen people in the development's public attractions, which include water park, artificial beach, mall. Many of them were speaking Malay. All right. Interesting. It was more people than they saw 2 years earlier, but it still felt like a ghost town. Yeah. And you could still get everything you need, but and what about emergency services, healthcare, all of that? If it's far away, then who knows? Interesting. So in September, Forest City told Reuters that some 55,000 people visit its showroom each month, and said the 2 hotels on site are always fully booked. But they went and visited it, and one of the 2 hotels at the estate found dozen people dining and checking in there. But around the area the showroom was located, a mile away from the beach and water park, there were only a handful of people, mostly families, looking for a spot to have a picnic. I don't know. It's a far cry from 700,000. Yeah. Fake it till you make it. Yeah, I would be a little suspect. But there's been a lot of that. Massive cities supposedly built to support the Chinese population, but then people didn't buy the condos. And so these towns, massive skyscrapers, and dozens of them are ghost towns. Anyway, they come to the beach but don't spend a cent. The entrepreneur, who declined to be named for privacy reasons, told the author. So yeah, nobody's going and nobody's spending. Yeah, you kind of need the people there, and there's nothing there to draw people to it. A night in the hotel starts around $90. I don't know if that's expensive or not for, Malaysia. So anyway, yeah, it's pretty neat. There's a lot more in this article. There's some pictures that really show, basically a ghost town. The pool has a bunch of people, but not if there's a fully booked hotel. And 7 look half-filled pool in Forest City in 2022. Yeah, I don't buy it. All right. Well, anyway, pretty interesting nonetheless. Maybe they'll start selling them. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Just kind of abandoned there. And one typhoon. No. Just wipes it all out. So the next article is over in the Mobile Channel. These birds politely gesture after you in a never before documented behavior. I titled this one, The Birds Give You the Bird. They don't have fingers, so they can't really give you the bird, but they can give you the feather. Oh, I have to start this whole sentence because of the snippet. The snippet starts out, tits are polite, at least for mating. Don't misinterpret what I say. A team of scientists observe the birds fluttering their wings to signal their mating partner to go first when returning to their nests, expanding the number of species known to communicate by gesture. Us humans also communicate by gesture. Isaac Schultz over at gizmodo.com put the article together. The deck statement says Japanese tits use their wings for nonverbal communication, expanding a behavior once thought limited to the great apes. I swear I'm a child. Anyway, humans rely on many types of nonverbal communication. There's the wink and impish flicking of one eyelid, often teasing or suggestive. There's the finger guns. Pew, pew. When someone's being cool little guy, I get what? A cool little guy, I guess. Okay. And you gotta let them know. Can be misinterpreted as threatening. So you gotta go pew, pew, cool guy. And who could forget the upwards and downwards head nods? Sup? Hey. Typically a nonverbal greeting or sign of acknowledgement. I acknowledge you. Sup? You don't say sup though if it's going to be nonverbal because words. Anyway, researchers are studying Japanese tits, Paris minor. Observed the critters using their wings to gesture their mate to enter the nest first. After you. The team's discovery published today in Current Biology. For over 17 years, the author of this article, not the article, but the research, says that they've been engaged in the study of these fascinating birds, said Toshitaka Suzuki, a researcher at the University of Tokyo and the study's lead author in a university release. Quote, they not only use specific calls to convey particular meanings, but they also combine different calls into phrases using syntactic rules. These diverse vocalizations led me to initiate this research into their potential use of physical gestures, and they caught it on video. Oh no. My browser just crashed again. Huh. We're halfway through the show. Look at that. Yeah, I'm going to have to. All right, folks. So I'm going to leave this half up. And then I'll end up having to do 2 parts over on YouTube as well. But I'll leave part 1 here. We're halfway through, so we might as well do exactly that. Anyway, I think Japanese tits are fascinating. I'll leave it at that. This is the end of part 1. We'll start part 2 here in about, I don't know. It depends on how fast I can get it back up and running. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Thanks. Stay tuned for part 2.